Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the JJs Declutter Podcast. I'm Julie.
And I'm Janis. And today we're helping families ease the chaos and clutter of back to school transition. If your house is still in full summer mode, you're not alone.
Whether you're dreading the early alarms or drowning in school supply lists, we've got you covered. We're breaking down the 7 key areas to tackle now, plus 5 bonus tips for a smoother start to the school year.
In this month's Magazine Moments for August, we are reviewing 3 articles on back to school, which are listed in the show notes. So grab your coffee, a pen and notepad, and let's get started.
All righty. The first thing that we're going to discuss right now is reestablishing routines. So summer throws all your routines out of whack. Your kids are staying up late, they're sleeping in, they're snacking on ice cream for breakfast.
Amen. So about 2 weeks before school starts, begin gradually shifting those bedtimes earlier, just 10 to 15 minutes a day.
You want to also do that with the wake up times and meals because your goal is to reset those internal clocks.
Yeah. And don't forget after school routines, plan a rhythm for homework, screen time, dinner, and chores. And I hate to say it, but athletics, because a lot of them belong to teams, and because predictability reduces stress.
Very true. And maybe use a visual checklist for the little ones. So they just, if they're not reading yet, they can see the picture of what they're supposed to do. And they love checking boxes or getting stickers.
So, number 2, we're going to talk about family calendars and communication because in order to start the school year off right and in sync, you need to have calendars and communication.
Absolutely. We recommend a centralized calendar, paper, whiteboard, digital, color code it for each family member.
And this could be old school, but when you have more than one person, it really is a good idea to have a paper calendar or a whiteboard calendar so the whole family can see what people are doing on any given day. And like Julie said, color coding will make everything easier. And that way everyone's all on the same page.
Right, right.
And the other thing, you want to make sure that you update the teacher contact information, the school nurse phone number, and all those emergency contacts.
And since you're updating that at school, I would suggest taking a copy and keeping that on your communication board too. Because if you get some kind of call and you have to return a call really fast, you're going to need to know where those contacts are. So it's just good to have those handy. A bonus tip is if you keep a copy of your school schedule on the fridge, you're not going to forget things like, oh, it's half day. I'm supposed to pick the kids up early.
Or showing up to back to school night in your pajamas.
So moving on to number 3, meal planning and prep. So basically, next up is food. Here we go. Mornings are wild. So pack your lunches and prep your snacks the night before.
Yep. Save yourself from the 7 a.m. We're out of bread panic.
Meal plan dinners for the week. This is where Taco Tuesday is your friend. You always know what's going to be on Tuesday. We always know Fridays is Pizza Friday. So that way I don't have to worry about those 2 nights each week.
And here's a bonus idea. Involve
Tuesday.
the kids. Let them not only help prep, but let them pick, a menu item because that will make them more excited about that one dinner because they know that they picked it. And it also helps build responsibility and kitchen skills.
True. And it's so much fun when the kids know that today's their special day. They get to help make dinner.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
So, number 4, we want to work on homework zones and supply. And homework spaces are very important because you really want to create a clutter free zone with everything they need so they don't have an excuse to get up and procrastinate by saying, I need to sharpen my pencil. Oh, I need to find the colored pens. If you have everything in one place, all they need to do is get to work.
Absolutely. It doesn't have to be fancy, a corner of the kitchen table, but have a supply caddy with the pencils and all that. It can work wonders.
And you want to avoid the distractions, because you've got TVs, you've got phones, you've got computers. So just say no TV, no TikTok. And if you're on the computer, you better be studying and not looking at Instagram or Facebook or whatever else there. Oh, YouTube.
Right. And stock up early. Grab extra supplies when they're on sale and just keep a backup box for emergencies.
Hmm.
So I have known children that have taken the supply caddy and hid it, thinking that if they hid the caddy, they wouldn't have to do their homework. And it just really takes the wind out of their sails when mom pops up with, oh, that's okay. I have an emergency box.
That's an innovative way to try and get out of doing your homework. Um, So, number 5, we're going to talk about clothes and laundry because you don't want those wardrobe battles in the morning. So, a good idea is to lay out the outfits the night before, or better yet, for the whole week.
Right. And do a closet purge now. Donate what doesn't fit. It saves time and tantrums. And you have people within your community that probably can't afford to get all the supplies and clothes for school.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to pass some of those things on.
Mhm. And, set up a laundry system. Assign laundry days or have hampers or clothes baskets out by the room.
You can even label drawers or bins for school uniforms, sportswear, socks, so that you keep things contained and together. Makes it easier for everyone in the house
Yep.
to be able to
It's
have an easier way to get through.
My daughters were in club soccer after school, so those items needed to be washed and ready for their next practice. So I had 2 plastic drawers in the laundry room. When it came out, it immediately got folded and stuck into their drawers so they knew where their practice shirts were, they knew where their team uniforms were, and from there, it was their responsibility to get the right gear and stick it in um,
Right.
their gear bags, their
Right.
backpacks. Um, but that's one way so everybody knows where everything is, and you know that it's clean and it doesn't stink. Um, so number 6, purging and organizing. This is decluttering 101. So you want to start with the kids' closets, shoes, backpacks, and that paper clutter.
Absolutely. Set up folders or trays for incoming school papers, like one per kid. What we would do is we use those wall pocket things. So each
Hmm.
kid had their own pocket for their papers to go into. And so if mom didn't see something, it was because she didn't check.
Not you
Oh,
didn't stick it out there. It was I didn't
that's
see
right.
it. So this is something to think about. A weekly review equals less mess and less mystery.
So true. So true. So number 7, miscellaneous magic. What you want to do, you want to label everything. Label the backpacks, the lunch boxes, the water bottles. I strongly suggest not labeling them on the outside. Label them on the inside. You don't want someone reading your child's name on their backpack and acting as though they know them. And it's sad that we've come to this,
Yeah.
but it really is very important. So label them all, just do it where it can't be read by someone else across the room.
And some I'm hearing more and more people putting air tag locators and things because, you know, these things aren't inexpensive. It's an investment. So if they've got a $40 water bottle, which is very easy nowadays. Make sure it has a tag on it so you can locate it. But let's get on with all the magic. So make a chore chart. So everybody is contributing. It's not just you. It's not just them who feel like they're being put upon. It's
Mhm.
everybody gets to participate.
Absolutely. Make a morning checklist that your child can follow, even with sleepy eyes. So they know they get up in the morning, they need to do this, 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 and this before they go out the door. And it just makes it easy because honestly, when you wake up, especially with sleepy eyes, it takes a while for the nighttime fog to disperse, and then you can think straight.
And, not only a morning checklist, but maybe you might want to do a bedtime checklist. So they prepare their backpack and they make sure everything's in there that can go in there. So they're not running around in the morning when everything's kind of hectic, so
Right.
that way they are prepared for the next day and can just concentrate on, brushing their teeth, getting dressed, eating breakfast, and grabbing their lunch.
Right.
So we wanted to talk about the 2025 back to school trends and spending because things are different this year in 2025. According to Price Waterhouse Cooper's latest consumer survey, nearly 3 in 4 back to school shoppers expect to spend the same or more this fall, despite the economic uncertainty.
That's huge. And more than 1 in 3 parents anticipate spending even more than they did in 2024. Technology leads the budget, of
Mhm.
course. 1 in 4 parents plan to spend over $500 on tech alone.
Yeah, I
That's,
can I can see that. I mean, whether it's a new phone or a new laptop or a Chromebook, those things are get expensive.
yeah, they do.
Um, and shoppers are adapting to how they buy. It's not the same as when we used to look at the newspapers and say, "Oh, I would need to go." I used when I was doing back to school shopping. I mean, my kids are now in their 20s. We used to go to Target and we used to go to Staples. Those were the two ones that we always hit. But now, 1 in 5 plan to use AI tools to find the deals online. Well, Gen Z parents are showing a surprising love for in store shopping, more than millennials or Gen X.
That is just fascinating to me. Um, Hybrid shopping is still dominant, but those homes that are under 75,000 income tend to prefer in-store, while higher earners lean towards online. It's a real shift in consumer behavior.
And that shift also is duplicated in, well, we were talking about grocery shopping.
Mhm.
A lot of the people who are in their 30s to 40s after the pandemic have found that, buying their groceries or ordering their groceries and just going and having them picked up is more efficient than them going to the store and shopping. And I was talking to my daughter about this and she says, if I go in that store, I'm 90% sure that I'm going to buy something that I don't really need, like cookies or ice cream. So that's her way of avoiding some of those impulse buys.
Mhm.
Whereas Julie was saying that your daughter-in-law,
Mhm.
she uses it to be more efficient.
She does. She uses it to be more efficient. She's a full-time teacher. Her husband my son has a full-time job. Their daughter is starting high school. She has, sports and music and all that stuff. And there's just so much going on all the time that my daughter-in-law can just get online, order her stuff, stop by on the way home from work, pick it up, and it saves her a ton of time. That especially kids in sports, you got to get home
Mhm.
and then you got to get them in their uniforms and out you go. So
Yeah.
um, that really, really does help them in saving a lot of time. And I'm sure, like your doctor said, there's not those impulse buys. So she already
So
knows to add ice cream to the order.
if she really wants it, yes. But
Right.
getting back to the spending for back to school, the takeaway of all this is that parents are still committed to education spending, but they're being smart by prioritizing deals, shopping early, and reusing what they can.
Right. And I really stress reuse what you can. So if you are feeling the pressure, you're not alone. And you're also part of a determined and resourceful group of parents getting it done.
So let's talk about the big five proactive steps. So, number one is gradual routine reset. Move bedtime and wake up earlier by 10 to 15 minutes daily. Start 2 to 3 weeks out so it doesn't come as a shock to your children or you. Um,
Right.
number two, get that dedicated study space ready now. It should be quiet, consistently stocked, and it doesn't have to be fancy.
Right. Number three, you want to foster the love for learning. Visiting museums, read together, link your summer fun to school subjects. And if you start to think about it, the things that you do during the day, during the summer, there are a lot of opportunities for you to share little tidbits of knowledge. So your kids are learning and they don't realize they're learning. Number four, you want to stock your supplies early. So get that backpack ready, label everything, check those clothes. And number five, you want to practice the routine. So do a dry run, wake up, get dressed, breakfast, pack bags, school route. And it's fun. The kids love doing, most kids really like play acting. So this is like doing a dress rehearsal for a play. It's like, all right, we're up and we're going and we're getting dressed. So everybody brush their teeth. Yes. Has everybody had their breakfast? Yes. And it can really be a lot of fun.
Except maybe with teenagers.
Well, yeah, there's that.
But, anyways, phew, that was a lot. But we know you can do this.
Absolutely. Back to school doesn't have to mean back to chaos. With a little planning now, you're going to thank yourself later because you are ready.
So, have you got a favorite prep tip that we missed? Please share it in our Facebook group, ABC Declutter with JJ Community.
And don't forget to subscribe, share, and join us next week because we have something for you every week. That's how we roll.
So, until then, keep it simple.
Keep it intentional.
And as always, keep
Keep decluttering.
decluttering.